Good afternoon. It's Kimball Sargent here, your self care coach, and welcome to Living Well in a Sick World. And today is the last day of this series of classes on living well in a sick world. And I wanted to think about where we're at in our world now because I changed the focus of this quite a bit because we started out in our pandemic and now we're at a place where, for a lot of us in this pandemic, our numbers aren't going in the right direction. I live in North Carolina, and our numbers are going up, and our hospital bed uh, capacity is going up in a way we don't want to. And I don't think it's really a matter of that we need to panic or be afraid. But I think what this pandemic has taught us is that we have to really value our health and think about the things that we do as individuals and as families to stay healthy. I've talked a lot about the fact that moms are the people that typically are looking after the family's health. We are usually the healthcare professional in our homes, whether that is our area of profession or not. Moms look after the kids, they look after their husbands. I've always said as a therapist that men come to therapy because either their wives or their courts send them there, and kids come because their moms bring them. And it's like that going to the doctor a lot too. Well, one of the things that we've learned in this pandemic is we can't wait on our health. If you leave your health to your chance, the chances are that you're not going to be healthy. So, what is the first thing that our government recommended at the time that this crisis began? They recommended that you shelter in place. What did that mean? You went to your home. Our government even went an extra step in a lot of places in taking homeless people and putting them in hotels because we knew that the places that they were sheltering on the street weren't safe. But most of us have a home and we think of it as our safe place. We want it to be that. There's a physician in New York, Dr. Nasachi Okiki Igbagwe, and she says it should be where you retreat to after a long, busy day, and the state of this environment essentially has a major bearing on your overall health. So the place we're living is going to have a huge difference in how we are able to stay healthy or not. So when moms are thinking about how they're going to set the stage for their family to be healthy, then the home is where they start. Even now in North Carolina, we've moved to stage 2 and people are getting out. But what is the name of the order? It's safer at home. So today, and I'm not just going to talk about at home because I'm going to talk a few minutes at the end about the safest places and activities for you to have with your family this summer because I know it's summertime and I get it. We've kind of all had it up to here with sheltering in place and being home. But our home is our safe place and we want to keep it that way. So, what does that mean? That means that you want to be sure that you are getting healthy food for your family, and we've talked about that. Getting food directly from a farmer. And just this morning, I was hearing that if you're buying the food directly from the farmer, you're still saving. Meats are skyrocketing right now at the grocery stores, but if you buy it directly from the farm, it's not. So find that farmer who really understands good, healthy farming practices, feeding those hooved animals grass and not grains, and get it there. Now's a great time to be getting your vegetables from your local farmer or from a roadside market. If you get it at the farmer's market and it's not in one of the stores there, it's just from the farmers, you save on sales tax. So you can eat healthier, feed your family healthier, and save money. You want to find a way to have pure water because that is totally related to your body's ability to ward off illness, being hydrated. And we went over all the reasons for that. So, as a mom, if you haven't looked into yet how to have that clean, purified water for your family, now is a really good time to look into that because the hydration of your family will make a difference. You want to make sure that people are getting good sleep. And I know school's out, everybody's kind of doing their own things. You may not have a schedule, but you know what? We are learning how important it is to have the same bedtime and the same time to rise for our overall health. And there are many things you can do, and we went over those in this course on ways that you can get the best sleep you need. And you've got to move. Again, I started off talking about this, and I want to finish talking about it. Our bodies were meant to move. All of the joints. I talked to you that I use Nia for that. And when we're moving, we've got our lymph system going, we've got our heart rate going, our immune system is functioning better. It gives us what we need to help maintain health. So get those kids out. And I know it's not quite as easy getting kids outside these days. And when it's hot in the summer, people don't like to be out. But I'll give you some ideas at the end on things that are safer to do and ways to keep yourself safe when you are doing those. Now, the last thing I'm going to talk about today is air purification. And what got me thinking about that was I happened to pick up Consumers Report and was reading an article on it. And I thought about the fact that one of the things you want to think about, not just because we're in a pandemic, but when anybody's sick in your house, what do you do to help keep yourself safer? You know, it used to be that houses were built, in fact, my house is very old, built about 1895. People were living there by 1900. So the windows were so that you could open up these windows and you could get a cross breeze that went entirely through the house. We don't build houses like that anymore. We're building them for efficiency. And what's efficiency? Keep it locked in. So really what that means is the air quality inside of your house, because of carpets and paints and all different kinds of things, cleaning products, is usually way worse than outside, and it's all kept in. So what happens when someone brings home a virus or a bacteria? Well, it's all trapped in and everybody's breathing it. So one of the things you might think about for the health of your family is getting a good air purification system. Because remember, long after this pandemic is over, and it's going to be over, you're still going to be wanting your home to be your safe place. So I was reading an article that was written on purifiers, and here were some of the things that they wanted you to think about in buying one. Air purifiers remove the triggers for asthma attacks. Well, you know what? It's my understanding that more people have asthma now than ever before. So just having an air purifier, if you've got someone in your family that has breathing difficulties, could be really beneficial to you. They eliminate allergens such as dust and pet odor. And so many people I know, their kids really want a pet, but they have minor allergies, and it causes those allergic reactions in the kid. Well, getting an air purification system can make that better. It helps with asbestos particles in reducing the chances of mesothelioma. Well, you know what? If you've got a house that was built a long time ago, you may not know everything that's in it. You may not know if there's asbestos there. And asbestos, it's not visible. You're not going to see it. So just knowing that you have an air filtration system can make you feel safer. It also can help eliminate radon gas, which can cause lung cancer. And I didn't know this till I was reading it. But, you know, I did know that breathing certain gases can lead to the development of lung cancer. And radon, for example, is created by the combination of uranium in your soil, rock, and water. It's found in homes and offices and schools, pipes and all. But when you have an air purifier, it helps remove that. So that's a really great benefit. It can also reduce the carbon dioxide levels in your home. And you know, inhaling oxygen and exhaling carbon dioxide is a natural carbon cycle. But when things are really closed in, it can raise that level. And you just having that air purifier can help with that. Air purifiers also help eliminate volatile organic compounds. And that, just doing that one thing, research has shown can lower your risk of developing leukemia and lymphoma. And you know what causes those? Well, it can be found in paints, coatings on wall, furnishing, clothes, dry cleaners, air fresheners, aerosol, stored fuels, auto products. Well, there's a lot of them. So if you just have an air purifier at your house, you're reducing that risk. Air purifiers, when I became a nurse, and I'm not going to say exactly when, but way back then we had air purifiers, and we often put them in patients' rooms who had infectious disease because we knew that helped protect the patient. It also helped protect us. And so we use those. So if you want to make sure your family's healthy, you really want to think of one. Also, who are people that are at high risk for this? Well, elderly people, people who have chronic respiratory illnesses, chronic illnesses, and even children now. We have concerns about them in this pandemic. So if you had a air filtration system in the room with them, it can make a real difference. The other thing, and I love this part, is air purifiers that have ionizers that produce negative ions have actually been found to lower the incidence of depression. Wouldn't it be great to have something that's helping you in all these other ways and also can be your happy machine? I really like that. So if you don't have one, I would suggest that you get an air purifier. So you probably want to know, well, how does that really relate to COVID-19? So this is not my words. This is an article that was in Consumers Report May 5th. And in 2003, during the SARS outbreak in Hong Kong, hospitals recommended the use of portable air purifiers with a HEPA filter. And the CDC also recommended the use of HEPA filters to reduce viral concentration of the SARS. Now, I'm going to tell you, I keep saying it again and again, there is no treatment, there is no cure for the coronavirus. What you want to do are those common sense, smart things that you would do to protect your family anyway. What we do know is that research in the Journal of Infectious Disease has shown that air filtration can reduce the risk of transmission of measles and influenza. So if you get one in this time right now where you're really worried, the worst thing can happen is there's other illnesses that it can help you with. Now, I found this really interesting because this was a professor at Virginia Tech. And what he said was, in theory, if an air purifier removes viruses from the air, it reduces concentrations in the room and thus reduces the potential for exposure. And that was Lindsay Marr, an environmental engineer. He said, so there's a mechanistic reason to think that air purifiers could help with transmission. So how would you want to use that air purifier? Well, if nobody's sick, I would suggest you keep it in the room where people are together most of the time. But when it will become the most important is when someone gets sick in your household. And take their air filtration system, put it in the room with them, about 3 feet from them, and you can run it on low. That's really better than having it further away and running on high, hoping that it's protecting everyone else. Like I said, about 3 feet from them and run it on low. Now, if you're really lucky, the really nicest and best air filtration machines will have an auto on it so that when they pick up a virus or something, they'll run at a higher speed, they'll be a little bit noisier, and then they'll revert back down to the lower level. So you want to be sure that that air filtration system has a HEPA filter and that it is effective and can capture 97% of particles that are 0.3 microns in diameter. So the novel coronavirus is 0.125 microns. But Marr says that the droplets that travel in the air where people are talking and breathing are more around 1 micron. And they do say that they believe that a HEPA filter can capture that. So if you're going to think about your family's health and want to do something to help them out, I'd suggest that you look at a good air filtration system. And I have one that I use and that I highly recommend. You know, I've been talking to you this entire time about the fact that I would love to do a wellness assessment for you and give it to you for free. There's one that you can get online, but if you contact me, I'll set up a time and we can meet on Zoom, and I'll be more than happy to go over your family's needs. Because depending on what your family situations are, does someone have diabetes? Does someone have asthma? Does someone have heart disease? Are you healthy and you just want to stay that way? I can help you with that. What you can do is go to my Facebook page, which is Wellness Solutions Today, and message me, and we will set a time for us to meet. You can also get the online version of this at www.wellnesssolutions.now.com, and I will send you my written assessment. You can also see the products that I promote at https www.wellnesssolutionstoday. I want to end today with a quote. Alone we can do so little. Together we can do so much. That was by Helen Keller. So if each one of us acts in this virus as though we were in the highest risk group and we just took all the precautions, and what is that? Well, that's social distancing, 6 to 10 feet, and we found now that 10 feet is better. It's wearing a mask whenever we're in public. You know, wearing a mask doesn't stop the need for social distance. So I promised I'd tell you what the best activities are. Well, swimming is really good. Being in the water is great. It's a great way to exercise. But remember to social distance there. Being out on the lake, being out on the river. But when you're going to be around people, wear the mask. The mask protects others. How would you feel if you knew that someone who came in contact with you got coronavirus and you could have been the person who gave it to them? When you wear the mask, you're not wearing it for yourself. You're wearing it for your neighbor. And when your neighbor wears a mask and you wear a mask, then everybody's more safe. And you know what? It's all about living well in a sick world. I want to thank you for joining me. In July, I'll be coming back with another series. I can hardly wait. I'm going to help you all this summer get this down to a fine science so that you are living well in a sick world and you are having a happy, healthy family. Have a great June, and I will see you back in July.